There's a few questions you should never ask in life. How much a girl's weight? How many drinks her dad? And what did Volkswagen do between 1939 and 1945? Well, today, I am. To have a good understanding of the subject, we need to go back to post-World War I Germany. The financial situation is bad, really bad. The country suffered immensely from the Wall Street crash from 1929. With that, a very large portion of the population fell into poverty. During this dark time, an opportunist man took advantage of this instability. This man is Mustache Man. This man had a vision. He had a goal. As we say today, he wanted to cook. Part of that goal was to put the country back on track. More money, more job, a better future for Germany. He might have had a bit more determination than people thought at the time. A lot more. At that time, most Germans couldn't afford a car. So the German Labor Front had a great idea. Let's build the people's car. This way, they can solve two problems at once. First, they create jobs so the ordinary citizen can work. Second, they build a cheap car so that same ordinary citizen can buy it. With that in mind, in 1934, Hitler ordered production of a car that could hold 2 adults and 3 children at 100 kilometers an hour, which is 62 freedom units. Luckily, a year prior, a small name in the automotive industry named Ferdinand Porsche built a Beetle-shaped car, rear-wheel drive, that fitted exactly this description. He named that car Volksauto. In 1937, the German Labor Front established the Volkswagen. The same year, Hitler and Ferdinand Porsche signed a deal to produce the car. In 1938, a first prototype was shown, called the KDF wagon. With this news, a new factory to launch the mass production of the car was built in the same year. The full-scale production was planned for September 1939, which never happened. September 1st, 1939 is marked as the official first day of the Second Great War. The Nazi regime invaded Poland. Following this event, 6 years of terror under the Nazi regime began. It took the world by surprise. Not really. Was quite obvious. Not the point. Millions were killed on both sides. Many innocent people died in a conflict they had no power over. This is the worst tragedy ever created by mankind. Keep in mind, just after the Kia Soul. This is disgusting. How can someone ever make something so up? The beginning of the war brought an abrupt end to the production of the Volksauto. During the war, Volkswagen company might have stopped producing the Volksauto, but it did not stop producing cars. So today we ask, what did Volkswagen do between 1939 and 1945? First, the Volkswagen Tubal wagon. 1000cc, 4 cylinders, 4 doors, rear-wheel drive with a manual transmission. Obviously, it's 1939. This is the first military vehicle they produced. In 1938, Ferdinand Porsche was asked to develop a cheap car that could work on every terrain. To achieve this, it had to be lightweight, 1,598 pounds. In comparison, the Mazda MX-5, which is considered very lightweighted in today's standard, is 2,366 pounds. This lightweight, combined with a flat-4 air-cooled engine, made it a reliability beast. This car was able to compete even without 4x4 with every other military vehicle on the terrain. It was that good. The second car they made is the Type 87, which is basically a 4-wheel drive Beetle that was offered to high officers. It's boring, let's skip it. The third car they made, I don't even know if I should call this a car because it could be used in a James Bond movie. Believe it or not, the third car they made is amphibious. The Schwimm wagon. That badass of a name. Nazis weren't just well dressed, they could name things. Back on the story. This car was designed by the man you love, the myth, the legend, part-time Nazi, Ferdinand Porsche. Yeah. The Schwimm wagon was still based on the KDF wagon and the Kubel wagon. It still had the 4-cylinder boxer engine with a 2-speed transfer case and a 4-speed manual transmission. Unlike the Kubel wagon though, it did have four-wheel drive. This allowed the Schwimmwagen to cross way harsher terrain. Now you might ask, Nick, it's a car. How does it work on water? Well, to that I say, why don't you ask why I changed shirt? Why any of this? What's the meaning of life? Why do we do those stupid shit? Why do you ask so many fucking questions? Great question. You see, the body is like a tub. This tub seals the interior of the car from water. This tub also allows the displaced water, which is basically the water the boat is on, to exert a force upward, making it float, just like a regular boat. When the Schwimmwagen needs to go forward and cross a body of water, well, there's this propeller on the engine cover. When you need to cross a body of water, you just lower it and you can go forward. But how do you turn? You use the steering wheel. Because the wheels are still connected, you can just turn the wheels and those act as rudders. The same principle as a boat, and this is how it works. With a powerful 4-cylinder boxer engine, the Schwimmwagen had a staggering top speed of 6 miles per hour. Now, I don't care whatever Volkswagen did between this war, because just with that car alone, it makes up for every 15,000 slaves. Yeah. Ah, yeah, that's bad, huh? Forgot that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, according to German historian, about 80% of Volkswagen workforce were slaves, which is about 15,000 people. Luckily, this period eventually ended. What's that? The war? Breaking news! The war is over. A bomb. But what will happen to Volkswagen, which was a Nazi project to begin with? Well, after the war, the British military took control of the factories. After bombing, they restored the factory, the Wolfsburg factory in fact, to make cars for the British military. Obviously. In 1945, the KDF wagon project was revived. And offered them to the occupying powers and the postal service. They need good cars to run the country. This revival paved the way for the commercial release of the car you all know and love, the Volkswagen Beetle. Yes. Later, Volkswagen did put up a restitution fund for the forced labor. And it is important to note that they quickly distanced themselves from the regime Nazi. Just like Henry Ford.